We have a special guest who wants to preview his new podcast that is From the Cheap Seats. This is Kyle. Kyle, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? What's up, Joe? How goes it?
Hey, it's going good. The season kicked off last night, and I know you have this podcast around football. Tell us about your plans. How are things kicking off?
Listen, thank you. The season kicked off as a lot of people saw last night with a big upset. Big upset. The Lions upset the defending Super Bowl champs with the Chiefs. But I'm here to talk about our podcast, your podcast, all the NFL fans around the world's new podcast. It's From the Cheap Seats. And what I'm looking for, I'm speaking off of the cuff here. What I'm looking for is the passionate NFL fans who have opinions and things that they've said to their friends that they may bring up. Hey, you remember when Josh Allen did this? Or you remember? Hey, I said that we should draft Jalen Hurts over Tua. And those guys got no recognition, right? Those guys, no one ever said, "Oh, I remember that when you brought it back up." So what I did is I wanted to have everyone have their hands into a podcast that allowed them to have their opportunity to come in and speak, and give their guttural reactions to their games on Sunday, and the games on Thursday and games on Monday also. So yeah, it's an exciting time. The season has started.
Nice. Now, I believe you're kicking things off this week. How do people get involved? How do they send videos to you? We will have the information up. I don't know if I have it in the description now, but I will put it in after the fact so people can find you. But people watching, how can they find you?
Okay, so we're on all the socials. The big one where we probably have the most traction is Facebook. So we've got a Facebook group. All right, that's From the Cheap Seats podcast on Facebook. You'll see a working shot of the logo that's up there, and that group. So in that group, right, you can post messages, and you can also message me privately. Kyle Langlois is my actual name, but you can message me any kind of content that you may have. If you have a reaction, right, you're watching your game, and this is something you want to say and you want to put it out there, send it to me. You can send it to our Facebook page, also on Instagram at ftcheapseats.pod. I got to double check on that. But yeah, we're also on Instagram. That's kind of a work in progress, the rest of the socials. But Facebook is really the big. So, yep, right there. So, From the Cheap Seats Pod. And the Instagram is at FromTheCheapSeats.pod. And then on Twitter, it's FTCheapSeatsPod. So, you can follow any of those. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. I'm also going to be getting it on YouTube. So again, we were talking about the content. So any kind of content you may have, if you got something you want to give who your MVP is going to be, right? You want to talk about who you think is going to be Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. You can, any way that you can call, text me, or some of the people that you'll find out are working with the show. Give us your opinions, and we'll make sure we get it on the show.
Nice. We will have to have you on again, maybe mid-season, and then again at the Super Bowl. See how the progress of the show is going, how people are interacting with it. Because for people that don't know, me and Kyle went to high school together. And when he reached out, when he was reaching out with advice about a podcast, I wanted to do like what I could to help put it over. Because while people enjoy a wrestling podcast, a football podcast will grip people so much more. And if you heard the passion that Kyle has for this podcast, the vision that he has for this podcast, that's what's going to make you want to watch, make you want to participate. So follow all those social medias. And since this is a wrestling podcast, I got to get a quick wrestling question in before Kyle goes back from lunch. WWE recently partnered with the NFL to make championship belts. I know Kyle is a fan of the Raiders, so I got to get your opinion on Raiders title before we leave.
I looked at them. I think they're sweet. I do. I will have one. There will be one in the man cave, in the From the Cheap Seats, But yeah, absolutely. I think they're sweet, and I think that idea. I'm amazed that it hasn't came out earlier. Truthfully, there's always been like fantasy championship belts, and Aaron Rodgers for years has done the belt symbol. So it's like it's only right. Truthfully.
And WWE has been giving them to teams like when they win the Super Bowl, when they win the World Series. So this is just another way to bring fans in. And, like if you're a wrestling fan, but also another sports fan, you've got that belt mark in you that you're going to want your Red Sox championship belt. your Patriots,
Right.
your Raiders, whoever your team is. So before we say goodbye to you, thank you for joining us again. Give us a
I
football
appreciate
pick this week to leave on, and then just let us know whatever you want to know one more time about the podcast.
Well, I'm actually gonna give you a big hot take. Okay, my MVP for this year is gonna be Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is gonna bounce back, and he's gonna shock people, and he's gonna win the MVP. Okay, that's good. That's a big one. A week 1 win. I think the Raiders are gonna go to Denver, and we're gonna win. I honestly do. It's a little bit of a homer pick, but I believe in it. I'm gonna leave you guys with this is what I'm looking for from any NFL fan out there. This is your podcast, guys. I want you guys' content. You don't have the opportunity to get on the big major networks. So instead, I'm giving everybody the opportunity. I want to hear what you guys have to say. You have an opinion and it's valued. You know, we're looking for a representative of all 32 NFL teams, right? We want to be able to, when something's going on with the Chargers, want to be able to call you up and you to drop your knowledge on the Chargers. Want to be able to drop your knowledge on the Browns. If there's any, the Bengals fans out there, anybody who's got an opinion, we want to hear it. Reach out to me. A lot of people, some of your fans may know me, some of your fans don't, but I'm a very, very sociable guy. So if you see me out there in social media land, reach out to me and I'll do anything I can to let you know how to get in contact with us.
Hey, by the end of the season, we hope all our fans know you, but thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us today, and we will talk to you again later. Have a good one.
I appreciate you guys having me from the cheap seats.
Remember when you were trying to tell the world that Josh Allen was going to be better than Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, and everybody you told they did this? And what about when you told your friends that Jalen Hurts was going to be better than Tua, and this was their response? Are you the guy known as the conductor of the Lions hype train and not the caboose? The From the Cheap Seats podcast is looking for a representative of all 32 NFL teams to impart their knowledge beyond the group chat. We aim to expand on the fan experience with a unique opportunity to include yourself in the conversation. For the fans, by the fans, from the cheap seats.